Hey everyone, welcome back to Triple R Reefer. Excuse me, I have the hiccups and it's driving me insane. So if I'm hiccuping during this video, that's why. Already got some meds called in for that crap. You guys sucks. Anyway, so this video, I've got a few things I want to talk about, but mainly I wanted to go ahead and do a video for someone that asked me, can you explain your success with the LPS that you have? Kind of talk about that. I'm like, absolutely. So LPS, pretty broad classification, I guess. But when I think about LPS, I think about like torches, hammers, ganies. But even pecan enchilada, that's an LPS. But I make assumptions that that's what they're talking about. LPS. I mean, so anyway, I'm gonna kind of group them into that. Whether or not this kind of applies to the corals you have, that's is going to be dependent up to what you got. I think for the most part, I'll just start here. LPS need, like all corals, consistent numbers. I personally track alkalinity more than anything. That's it. That's my guy. If it's straight up the same number or pretty dang close to it, I'm happy. Calcium, let me just say my number is 9. That's what I shoot for. Calcium, 430, 450, whatever, 500. Just, it just needs to be kind of close to that. It's one of those ones that doesn't really get used up the same as alkalinity. So that said, I maintain steady alkalinity. On top of that, you're going to hear a lot about they like a little dirtier water. I don't know if that's so true. I will say they don't like zeros, but I don't know any coral that loves zeros. Keep it in range. My shot and what I go for is around 0.1 phosphate, maybe a little bit less. But I'm not like pegging this number like this is it, or oh Lord, it's game over. I like to just try to keep it around that number, but not as important as I think some people make it out to be. I manage that with phosphate RX, and I dose it directly into the skimmer head, straight into the skimmer, let it bubble right out. So I actually just tested like 30 minutes ago my nitrate and phosphate, and my nitrate was 10, I think, and I'm happy with that. I don't really shoot for low numbers on nitrate either. Let me get this a little bit better. I think this is too high. That's closer. Okay. So keeping some nitrate in the system. While again, I don't chase that number, I just try to keep it somewhere in what I consider is reasonable. So 10, 15. I've seen 20 and see some really good colors out of that. It's just more consistency than anything. And so with that said, pick a number, try to stick close to it. I manage that with Red Sea as Nopox. That stuff's just easy, man. You gotta start slow, but there's just nothing to it. If I see my numbers creeping up my dose. If I see my numbers creeping too far down, surprise, I lower the dose. So nothing really there. Lighting is also important. They don't like to be blasted with light. I would say actually the lower the better. I honestly feel like some of my torches are probably a little bit too high par. I got a par meter, but I bought it we all in a group bought it together in my local reef club. I helped set it up, and then I just said, hey, I'll go last. So I actually hadn't got to check my numbers. So I wanted everyone to do theirs first, and then when it got back around to me, I'll check mine. But I'm guessing with all the dang light I have on this tank, I'm probably going to be at 150 at the sand bed. That's probably okay. But success-wise, I don't think lighting plays a huge part in that. Mainly just consistent light. I don't run any of my stuff maxed out. My G5 blues are not maxed out. These LED bars, I think they're on 4 hours of the day now. and my T5s are 10 to, they're on for 7 hours now. So nothing too crazy, but it is probably on the higher end. As you know, I'm more of a stick guy, so I'm catered towards my SPS, and the LPS get what they get. I'm not treating it like, hey, I'm taking care of the LPS. I think they get what they get, and they're happy though. I'll move them around if I see something bad, you know, too much flow or whatever. Oh, so that's the next thing, flow. Flow on LPS, so let me just say this real quick. I think LPS are actually, and I made a video on this, LPS are actually, to me, harder than SPS, because SPS, man, you just blast them. Hit them with some real good flow, hit them with some real highlight, keep your water, you know, fairly reasonable, and you're good to go. LPS, oh man, I got a little bit too much flow on me. Time to cut my skeleton and brown jelly out. See ya. It's just, they're not, to me, they're not as forgiving. Now, you know, there's colors that you have to focus on things with SPS, but so you don't have to deal with as much with LPS. But man, I've lost more LPS to too high flow, and that's what's so hard about mixed reef. You know, you got one thing for all the corals that don't like everything. You know what I mean? It's too broad a spectrum to try to get everybody exactly where they want to be. They all got to have the room to grow. It's very hard. Mixed reefs are hard. But so LPS flow, I'm going to say mid to low flow. This to me is about as good as it gets. Not too much. All the pops are moving. And it's not getting blasted. This to me is about perfect. Some people may want a little bit more, but I find most of my stuff stays happy like this. Alternate random flow. Right now they're in a cycle that is keeping everything kind of close to the side of the aquarium, which I don't really love. But I have these MP40s set in Mobius to change throughout the day, so they don't just stay on one mode. Don't ask me what they're set to. I put in just random crap over and over until I felt like, oh, that's good. And that's it. That's how I set it. Nothing else. I didn't pick anybody's thing that they use. I just went in and threw crap in there. I wish I would have caught that on camera. That was neat. This guy eating. I love it. So, anyway, make sure you dip your LPS as well. If you get polyclad flatworms in your tank, you're going to have a bad time. And I've never gotten them, thankfully, but I know several reefers that have. And again, they had a bad time. Keep an eye out for things getting too close and touching. This guy here has some real long tentacles. And every now and then he'll just land perfectly and touch my Ghani. And it doesn't kill him, but it definitely sticks to him and pisses him off. And so he'll retract. And eventually I'll have to go in there and push him off. But, you know, keep an eye on that. These guys are trying to fight for territory constantly. This chalice has been stung several times, but it's kind of defended itself. But I think that can also lead to coral warfare. Not so much sure with these types of corals if you're going to get a whole lot out of it, but you know, just be wary of that. Keep space in between your corals the best you can. That's another little tip there. Feeding your corals, feeding your LPS, I think is actually it's beneficial, but you don't want to overdo it. So when I say that, I mean it's okay to feed your LPS, your torches, your Ghanis, you guys that are going to quickly eat. But if you got an SPS reef, I just wouldn't worry about it. These guys are getting food, I promise. It's not absolutely necessary, but it can be beneficial, especially for Ghanis, torches, hammers. Anything that's going to eat quick with a mouth, it's going to pull it in and stick to it. Let's see here. With that said, make sure you turn all your flow off. All of your flow off and feed just directly to the coral you're trying to feed. Don't get all wild and just blasting everything. Feed directly to your corals and give them some time to eat. I usually leave the flow off for 20 minutes let them pull everything in they're going to eat, and then I'll kick the flow back on. I use Reefroids just because I got it, but I really actually prefer Benepets. I think it's Benepellets. Anyway, it's less phosphate. I mean, if you know about Reefroids, you know they got some phosphate in it. It's pretty crazy. That's really all I could think of on LPS, just to, I guess, to keep them happy. That's all I can really think about. Definitely, if you take anything from this, mind the neighbors. Mind those neighbors, because I promise you, you don't want coral stinging each other and killing each other. It's something that's in your control easily to move. Don't let them just sit there and get stung to death, because I promise you it'll happen. This guy over here, this orange echinata, you can see he got stung up by this favia right here. With all my cords in the way. Sorry. That favia right there. And so, anyway, he'll grow a skeleton. He'll grow back over that skeleton. But you know, that was my fault. I got to let him get too close. And usually that echinata will be the king winner there, but I don't know. Maybe he couldn't reach him, but the favia's tentacles are kind of crazy long. Anyway, be mindful of that. That's all I'm gonna say. Quickly, I'll just let y'all know, somehow, some way, I don't know exactly, but I lost my red velvet fairy wrasse. Found him this morning. Really sucked. Don't know what happened, if it was bullying or what, but he's eating fine. Just found him on the side of the tank, laying on the sand. That was one of my favorite fish, which I got a lot. But anyway, got to share the bad and the good. Fish loss sucks. I guess too, I'll just show you real quick. I got a Japanese weeping willow down here. It's the long tentacle. It's not looking great. I had to rubber band it back down on the rock, but I think it's gonna be all right. We'll see. I'll move it if I have to, but I want to get it stuck to the rock again. Everybody down here is looking pretty good. Let's see if I can see my two yellow tangs. There's one. Very hard to see. There's two of them down here, and they're doing great. They're getting along well. One of them gets a little, when they get a little bit bigger, I'll go ahead and sell one off, or maybe replace both of them. Who knows? Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Taking care of LPS. If you got any more questions or anything, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer it. Man, things looking good. All right, everyone. I'll catch y'all on the next one.